Hello, Field Commander. Um, I wanted to address the whole analogy, um, the whole analogy discussion, and basically, I hear it stated pretty clearly that you believe in loving the person and not the condition. Um, I think all conditions, being different as they are, and I think you realize this. Um, Being as different as they are, they they all have their strengths and weaknesses. Some of them have a lot more, seem to have a lot more weakness to me than, and some of it's not just weakness, but also vice. Being a psychopath seems to carry with it a lot more vice, in my opinion. Autistics can have meltdowns, but they're far and few between. They're more few, they can be frequent, but they're usually bottled up anger, which means that at least, I mean, you're just getting a different dosing of what they feel. And basically, what they feel is probably proportionate to their stress anyway. I have a lot of sympathy for autistics, and and um, and what they go through from society. I don't have so much sympathy just because they are autistic. I actually admire a lot of things about autism as a condition. Um, there are a lot of cool things you can think of as, even though they don't really participate in society a lot, that's not always a bad thing. They keep to themselves, that's not a bad thing. They have artistic talents, that's certainly beautiful. Are there things that are not beautiful about it? I mean, I personally don't want to be put on a pedestal for anything. I'll admit that things like allergies suck. That's not beautiful at all. Being prone to respiratory infections more easily, being prone to other things that might have medical repercussions. Do you think I wouldn't want those things treated? I think people would be mistaken if they thought I didn't. What's strange though is that when I go see some psychiatrists, they want to treat my behavior and not necessarily what I want. You know, I would like to be able to remedy things like my tunnel vision, my sensitivities, but no, they want to focus on my behavior because the socially acceptable thing to them is the most important. To me, I don't think it is. I mean, yeah, it's important. It's important for maybe me getting more acceptance in the world and hence better, maybe being able to get along better. Actually, I do okay in that respect, so maybe, but even then, I mean, I'm sometimes have a very difficult time. I mean, I remember when I first had my child, I had actually, I was fired by my boss right when I was having that child because I took too much time off work to support my wife at home when she was recovering, and I had to get a new job after I had just had a baby, and that was very hard. I thought it was kind of mean of that boss to do such a thing. I did get a severance package, but it still was not nice to be tossed out on the street as a new father. But it's because I did not really perform my job duties in that business world and that's life. So I learned a lesson, I guess. The world isn't kind. I think the point we should understand is that there are some things that can't be separated from the individual too much. Their conditions, by some degrees, are part of who they are. So to love that individual, you really do have to love the condition right along with it. Even though you don't have to love every aspect of that condition, you should still acknowledge them as having that condition, loving that person with that condition along with it together. Because, and even say with a psychopath, say Do we love the they can't cure that either. From my understanding, it's nearly impossible to treat. It takes a lot of, for someone who understands that a person is a psychopath and they're not taken in by it, it is, they have to exercise a lot more forgiveness, and they may have to exercise a lot more compassion. It's a sad state of being, in my opinion. It is not the same as autism, obviously. It has its issue. It seems like it's a more difficult thing. I mean, in some ways they have it easier because they actually have a lot of skills as well, along with the detriments. So, in a way, I don't want to be felt sorry for, just like probably they don't. That's probably another thing we have in common. Even though I think, psychopaths are the kind of people that kill, that tend to seek out and bully, at least, and sometimes kill other autistics. A lot of people are labeled psychopath in hindsight, maybe really without a label of psychopath, but they're just evil. So I don't want to equate being a psychopath with being evil. I think they're different, but it's definitely a personality type that I find difficult to get along with. Definitely a challenge for me. At the same time, I'm not going to say, because it's inseparable from that person, I have to say they and their condition together are not really beautiful, but I accept it. I accept them with their condition. That's about it. And, I accept them as a human being who has a condition they can't help. At the same time, I'm not going to be taken in by certain things they do. I may not accept certain things they do. I'll try to accommodate them, but what accommodations do they need, really? I don't think they need more autistics to harass, obviously. So, but if they had accommodations, I would try to find some way of accommodating them to make it so they don't. I don't think they should lay claim to the fact that doing certain bad things is something they have a right to do just because they're psychopaths. Just like being autistic doesn't mean we have a right to do anything evil either. So I think we have to separate intentions with things we can't help, with circumstances. I think underneath it all you have a human being who has real needs, and I think the important thing to keep in mind is to take care of that person as a fellow human being, regardless. But autistics definitely do have lots of needs, and I don't think autism is as evil. I certainly think it gets a bad rap out there, and certain parents probably see it as very, very, very annoying. It's probably considered by some of the most annoying condition. I find psychopaths to be more annoying personally, but can be very annoying to some people. I'm sorry we annoy them so much in some ways. I can imagine. I'm annoyed by certain things regular people do too, so I can relate. But at the same time, I don't think I have to change everything about me to fit their whims. Just like I don't ever expect them to change everything about them to fit mine. Certainly, they don't even consider that option half the time, so why should I return that favor? I don't think I should push things in terms of right or wrong. There are some things that are not quite right or wrong. It's just being a different way of doing things. And some people are just too absolute right, wrong, black and white thinkers themselves in society to think that anything we do being a little bit different, just like rocking a different way on a different piece of furniture that was maybe not built for rocking, but maybe just as good at it nonetheless. Just because it looks odd to them and it's not the way everyone else, does things, and it's comfortable to the individual but not necessarily the crowd. I don't think that's a bad concept either. I think we bring in a degree of individualism in a way to the world